Thursday was the worst day for the Dow in 3 weeks, marking the end of a 13-day winning run. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are eyeing a 5-month winning streak as we we're near the end of July. Let's head on over to Jared Blikre, who's at the New York Stock Exchange for more. Jared, what's the latest?
Well, we are looking at an update, retracing some of those big losses from yesterday. I'm looking at the Wi-Fi Interactive, and the Nasdaq leading the way up. It is up 1.5% today, still up just a little bit more than that for the entire week. So never really got into the red, even withstanding yesterday's loss for the week, I should add. And then the Dow up 0.6% these last 5 days. Want to show you what that candlestick, that big red candlestick from yesterday looks like. This is a 1-month candlestick chart of the S&P 500. This is what you call a bearish engulfing, and I was noting that at the close yesterday. You can see engulfing those 3 candles to the left of it. Nasdaq, a similar story there, but you'll notice the Nasdaq has bounced back quite high, and then we have the Russell 2000. That is engulfing all 6 of these candles, but it really depends on what happens today in the next few days. Getting back to the S&P 500, 4,600 is a level that saw a bunch of selling yesterday, so I'm going to be watching that like a hawk if and when price returns to that level. Got to talk the bond market. Yesterday was a huge update in long-term yields. This is the biggest green candle in the 10-year that we've seen in months, and that typically weighs on stocks, and that is indeed what happened yesterday. But I want to show you guys something. This is the ICE-B of a move index. You can think of this as the VIX of the bond market, and it's heading to the lowest levels right now. Actually, this was yesterday as of 3 p.m. the bond market closed that we've seen since February. So a little bit of good news there. And let's take a look at what's happened in stocks and sector action. Here's today. Communication services has been the leader all week long, and then rounded out with these two. That is the mega cap sectors in play today. Here's the 5-day look. Communication services, Alphabet earnings as well as Meta earnings, those are contributing to the rise. Materials and energy and tech, those are the top 4, and that is a decently broad swath of sectors that we're looking at there. You take a look at the Nasdaq. Google, Alphabet up 10%, Nvidia 5%, Meta 8.7%. So that explains that strength that we saw in communication services houses both of those. And then taking a look at our leaders for the week, China is up about 11, 12%, and the KRE is regional banks. So regional banks in China each having their week in the sun here. So interesting mix. I do want to close on a note that's a little bit of a negative, actually a huge negative for the Japanese Bank of Japan. You take a look at this board here. This is the Japanese yen-based forex currencies crosses. So it's the yen versus the Australian dollar. That is now in the red. Anything red indicates yen weakness, and it's across the board. Now, what should have happened, according, I think, to the Bank of Japan, what they were hoping for is a strengthening of the currency, because the yen has been weakening to multi-year, at least 30-year lows against the US dollar. But a little bit of a tricky situation here for the Japanese government, because they got the opposite reaction that you would have thought for the actions that they took. So I think this is going to be a hot spot, something to watch going forward. Will the Japanese government get forced out of yield control? I think the market has already said its piece.
Yeah, and you did a much better job of contextualizing that than I did a little while ago. Thanks so much, Jared. Appreciate it.